and gentlemen, the story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
This is the city. Los Angeles, California. I work here. I'm a cop. It was Tuesday, February 3rd. It was cold in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of homicide detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Lorman. My name's Friday. It was 18 minutes past 2 a.m. when we got to number 15 San Jose Street, the Green Light Tavern. A killer was loose in the city. His weapon, a .38 caliber revolver. His objective, robbery and murder.
Ambulance on the way, George?
Can't use it. They're both dead, wife and husband.
Did you call the crime lab?
They're on the way.
Okay, we better take a look at that back room.
Right.
This is the way you found him, Crowley?
Nothing's been touched. Safe was open when we got here, cleaned out. Shot twice through the back, both of them.
They both dead when you got here?
The old man was. She wasn't.
She say anything?
She said the holdup guy wanted all the money in the safe. The old man gave it to him, pleaded with him not to shoot.
Yeah.
While I was handing over the money, the old man dropped a $10 bill. He said he was sorry, stooped to pick it up. The guy shot him through the back.
Mm-hmm.
The woman said she turned to grab her husband. Guy shot her through the back.
Did you get a description?
She didn't last that long.
Tough luck.
What were their names?
Mr. and Mrs. Enrique Cotero, they ran the place. Good people.
They always are.
Wonder how much money the guy got.
Not enough to pay the check. Sergeant Allen and the crew from the crime lab arrived and went to work. They dusted for fingerprints, took pictures of the back room, the safe, the victims. Every object that could have any possible tie-in with the crime was photographed. Captain Lorman was with them.
Looks like that job over on the east side last month, Skipper. Same M.O.
Kid with Ramsey. He the witness?
Yeah, he worked for the Coteras, didn't he?
Yeah, bar boy. Handyman, you know. Ramsey's getting no place with him.
What's the matter?
Spanish, can't speak English.
Well, how's your Spanish, Frank?
Still high school Spanish.
All right, let's give it a try. Was he the only one here?
When we got here, yeah.
Trabaja aquí como bar boy, ¿verdad?
Sí, señor. 3 months. Mr. Cotero era muy bueno conmigo.
¿Cómo se llama?
Juan Pedillo. Vivo al otro lado de la barra, en la casa de huéspedes.
What's he saying, Frank?
Well, his name's Juan Padillo. He's been working here for about 3 months. He lives next door in the rooming house. Claims he got along fine with Mr. Cotera.
Ask him to tell us how it happened. Everything.
Juan, queremos saber exactamente cómo pasó esto. Díganos de todo lo que se acuerda. El tiempo. Que tanta gente había. ¿Quiénes eran? Todos los detalles. Toma su tiempo.
Sí. Eran como 5 minutos para las 2. Tiempo de cerrar. Mr. Cotera apenas había cerrado la puerta de enfrente.
He says it happened around closing time, 5 minutes to 2. Mr. Cotera had locked up the front door. Siga, Juan.
Sí. Yo estaba detrás de la barra. Igualmente la señora Cotera. Estábamos limpiando los vasos y poniéndolos en su lugar. Solo estaba un marchante en la barra. Estaba sentado a la orilla de la barra. Allí.
Juan was behind the bar with Mrs. Cotera. They were cleaning up the glasses and putting them away. There was only one customer left. He was sitting at the end of the bar. That stool back there.
Yeah, go ahead, Frank.
Siga, Juan.
El marchante creo que se llama Pete. Estuvo aquí anoche y la noche anterior. Siempre se quedaba hasta que cerrábamos.
He says the customer's name was Pete. Was in last night, the night before. Always stayed until closing time. Bueno, Juan, siga.
La señora Cotera recogió el dinero del registro y se fue al cuarto de atrás. La oficina está allí. El señor Cotera se sentó con el marchante y bebió con él. Este hombre, Pete.
Un minuto. He says about 2 o'clock, Mrs. Cotera took the money from the cash register and went into the back room.
La oficina.
Yeah, the office. And Mr. Cotera sat down and had a drink with this guy, Pete.
All right, what happened then?
Luego, ¿qué pasó?
Bueno, yo limpié los vasos y como unos cuantos minutos después de las 2, llevé una caja de botellas vacías a la bodega. Estuve allí creo que como 5 minutos, cuando oí el ruido. ¡Bang, bang!
¿Qué hizo entonces?
Dejé caer las botellas y oí de nuevo. ¡Bang, bang! Entonces corrí a ver. Mr. y Mrs. Cotera estaban tendidos en el suelo. Había sangre. Este hombre Pete salía por la puerta de enfrente.
What's he saying, Frank?
He says a couple of minutes past 2, he went back to the storeroom with a case of empty bottles. He was back there about 5 minutes when he heard gunshots. He ran out and saw Cotero and his wife on the floor. This guy Pete was going out the door.
La puerta de enfrente.
Yeah, the front door. Just a minute. ¿Puede conocer a este hombre Pete? ¿Si lo ve de nuevo?
Oh, sí, señor, sí lo conocería.
He says he'd know Pete if he saw him again.
Does he know anything about him? Where he lives, where he hangs out?
¿Sabes dónde vive Pete, Juan? ¿Dónde come? ¿Dónde se mantiene?
No, estuvo aquí hoy, anoche y antenoche. Es todo lo que sé, señor.
Pete was in here for the past 3 nights. That's all he knows.
Ask him if he remembers what Pete was drinking, will you?
Yeah. Juan, ¿se acuerda lo que este hombre Pete estaba tomando?
¿Lo que estaba bebiendo? Oh, sí, señor. Scotch y water. Plain water. Toda la noche lo mismo.
Scotch and water. Drank the same thing all night.
Same guy?
Well, it ties in with that other job over on the east side. Wherever the guy works unconsciously, he seems to order the same thing to drink, doesn't he?
Dispénseme, señor oficial. Hay algo más que me acuerdo de él. Algo más que él hizo.
Wait a minute. You remember something else. ¿Qué fue eso, Juan? ¿De qué más se acuerda?
Cada noche, él tocaba la máquina de música. Allí. La tocaba mucho. Todo el tiempo pedía cambio.
He says Pete played the jukebox a lot.
Sí, señor. La misma melodía. Toda la noche. De vuelta y de vuelta.
¿Cuál era esa, Juan? ¿Se acuerda?
Sí, señor, me acuerdo. Venga acá, le enseñaré.
What's he doing?
He wants to show us the jukebox. He said Pete played the same tune all night.
Aquí, señor oficial. Esta, la número 14. La tocaba toda la noche. De vuelta y de vuelta. Funny Man.
That's the one.
Number 14. Well, tune might be another one of his habits. Let's play it.
Go ahead. You got dime?
Frank.
Sí, esa es. Él tocaba esa.
He says that's the one.
Must be in every jukebox in town.
What does that prove?
It's not going to be very much help. A lot of people like that tune.
Only one man commits murder to it.
Ten minutes past 3 a.m., Tuesday, February 3rd. Captain Lorman, Frank, and I left the Green Light Tavern, and we took Juan Padillo, the young bartender, back to the office with us. With the help of an interpreter, a police stenographer took down his statement, and then we showed him 3 volumes of coming-out mugshots. Padillo and Frank started looking through them. Captain Lorman and I went across the street to the old city jail building, the crime lab, to see Russ Camp in ballistics.
How's it going, Russ?
Well, still working on it. It's pretty tough.
Why, what's the matter?
Right here. This is the bullet that killed that East Side bar owner last month.
Yeah.
It's from a .38 Colt Special. We know that. It's a metal-piercing bullet.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the slug's in good shape. We weren't that lucky tonight.
How do you mean, Russ?
Well, here's the 4 bullets they fired in the back room of the Green Light Tavern tonight.
What happened to them?
Must have had a heavy load. They penetrated the bodies and buried themselves in the wall and floor.
Badly deformed.
Yeah. It's going to take some work. Can't tell you much right now.
Well, what can you tell us, Russ?
Well, I checked the bullets, examined the lands, markings. They got a left-hand twist.
And they came from a Colt.
Yeah, .38 Colt Special. Same type gun killed that man last month.
It's not enough to go to court with, is it?
It's enough for us right now.
Well, we should get a make on one of these 4 bullets. It'll take a little time.
Yeah.
Now, you see these 2 slugs?
Yeah.
Lands, grooves, striations. They're pretty badly mutilated.
Mm-hmm.
There's no chance for any fancy work there, but we still have a good bit left down here at the base of the bullet.
And with any kind of a break, you can match them.
Oh, I hope so. Grab it, will you, Joe?
Yeah, I got it. Crime lab Friday. Yeah, Frank. Yeah. Right away.
Smith?
Yeah. Juan Padillo just identified the killer. There's his picture.
There's his package.
Is Juan sure that's the right man?
Dispénseme, señor oficial. ¿Qué dijo usted?
Él dijo, ¿está usted segura que este es el hombre?
Oh, sí, señor. Es él, estoy seguro.
He's sure.
According to his R card, Albert J. Stacy, white male American, 5 foot 11, 170 pounds, brown hair, blue eyes.
Here's a red flag on his index card, violation of parole. Got out of San Quentin 18 months ago. Burglary, auto theft, armed robbery.
He's used a gun before.
That makes him number 1.
By 4 a.m., an APB and a radiogram on Albert Stacy had been dispatched. The manhunt got underway. At 10 o'clock that morning, Sergeant Allen reported on his findings at the scene of the murder. No fingerprints, no additional physical evidence. We counted on getting the suspect's prints from the glass that he was drinking from at the bar. But either Mrs. Cotera or Juan had unknowingly given the killer his first big break. All the glasses had been washed, wiped, and neatly put away before the shooting. The prints had been destroyed in the process. Just after lunch, Russ Camp and Ballistics came up with an answer. The bullets which killed Mr. and Mrs. Cotera came from the same gun which killed the East Side bar owner a month before, a .38 Colt Special.
Homicide, Lorman. Yes, Crowley. Where? Good, thanks. I just picked up Stacy. They're bringing him in.
6 p.m., Tuesday, February 3rd. Albert Stacy was booked at the main jail on suspicion of 187 PC, murder. On his person was found a .38 Colt Special. The gun was immediately taken to the crime lab for examination. Stacy was brought to the interrogation room. Frank and I questioned him for 4 hours. He denied any connection with the 2 robberies and the murders. At 10 o'clock that night, we set out for coffee and sandwiches. Stacy ate heartily. He was worried, but he didn't have the attitude of a trapped murderer. The questioning went on. Midnight came. Stacy hung on to his story. He refused to say where he was at the time of the killings. He had nothing to do with the robberies, nothing to do with the murders. At 4 a.m., Frank and I took time out for a smoke.
He's bound to break. He's got to.
Well, either he's a great actor or I'm tired. He doesn't strike me as a guilty man.
Well, I'm with you, but what about his record and the mugshot the kid picked out?
Seaman. How's it going?
Nothing.
Russ Camp just called about Stacy's gun.
Yeah.
Maybe we found the right man, but we got the wrong gun.
a.m. Wednesday, February 11th. We were refused a complaint against Albert Stacy by the district attorney's office on the grounds that we were unable to present sufficient evidence against him. We then filed on Stacy for violation of the State Penal Code, Chapter 339, Statutes of 1923 as amended 1947, Sub 2, an ex-convict with a gun. We put a hold on Stacy for his parole officer. He was to be returned to San Quentin. Frank and I started all over again from the beginning. A complete description of the suspect, along with his method of operation, was distributed to every tavern and cocktail lounge in the city. A special detail of men from the Metropolitan Division was assigned to stand a special watch between the hours of midnight and 3 a.m. During the month that followed, we set trap after trap for the killer. He failed to take the bait. Another month passed. We watched and we waited. 1 a.m. Saturday, April 4th. Frank and I were cruising the central area.
Attention, all units. All units. A 211 and shooting in the bar on the corner of Bellevue and Allison. A 211 and shooting in the bar on the corner of Bellevue and Allison. Suspect left the scene on foot. Suspect is wearing dark coat, light trousers. 1R5, take the call. Code 3.
Let's go. 1K80, 1K80.
1K80, go ahead.
On that call to Bellevue and Allison, we are in the vicinity. We will handle.
1K80, roger.
1K80, any further description on the 211 suspect?
1K80, no further details. Suspect wearing dark coat, light trousers. Left the scene on foot. Code 3.
Let's roll it. 2 minutes later, Frank and I got to the Windsor Buffet. The robbery victims were the owners, Mr. and Mrs. Ernest Lineberger. Mrs. Lineberger did all the talking. 1:25 a.m. Frank and I continued questioning Mr. and Mrs. Lineberger. Their description of the suspect, his M.O., and all of his actions matched those of the man who had shot down Mr. and Mrs. Cotera 2 months before, and the East Side bar owner a month before that. The Linebergers told us that the suspect drank only scotch and plain water, and that he played the jukebox incessantly. The same tune, Funny Man.
That's right, Funny Man. That's what he played. I got a good look at his wrist, too, his right wrist.
What about it?
He's got a picture tattooed on the underside.
What kind of a picture?
Looks like a cat, a black cat.
Do you by any chance have the glass that he was drinking out of?
Yeah, it's over by the door.
Smashed to bits.
Sure, I threw it at him when he ran out the door.
2:12 a.m. Frank and I drove Mr. and Mrs. Lineberger to the office where we took their statements and filled out a crime report. After that, we went down the hall to R&I and had one of the officers on duty check through the oddity file for us.
That's it, Joe. Only guy in the file with a tattoo of a cat on his wrist.
Yeah.
He's got a different tattoo on his left wrist.
Well, he's only got one name. Wesley R. Guttridge. We pulled his mugshot. He was almost a dead ringer for Stacy. We compared descriptions. They matched almost perfectly. A radiogram was sent out on him, and communications broadcast a want for murder. Captain Lorman, Frank, and I checked our informants and all our available sources of information for the whereabouts of Wesley Guttridge. There was no trace of him. 2 days passed. We continued cruising the Central and Hollenbeck Park area.
Unit 1A5, out for 7, KMA 367. Correction, 7R6. That's 2421 Beverly Boulevard. A prowler now, KMA 367. Attention all units. Attention all units. At 5th and Winston, the bar. A 211 and shooting. Code 3. Suspect left the scene on foot. Suspect was headed west on 5th Street. Attention all units. All units. At 5th and Winston.
The name of the place was Doris and Jim's. Inside, we found a man lying on the floor, face down. He was dead. There were 3 bullet wounds in his back.
Jim gave him the money, every penny of it. He asked him for it, and Jim gave it to him. He didn't have to shoot him, didn't have to kill him. We gave him the money.
Shut that thing off, will you? 5 a.m. Tuesday, April 7th. Frank and I sat in on a meeting with Captain Lorman. Plans for a citywide Dragnet operation to apprehend the killer were discussed and formulated. By 7 a.m., an overall plan was set in motion. Every available man was ordered up for special duty in the Central area, the Newton Street Division, the University Division, and the Hollenbeck and Highland Park areas. Additional men from the Metropolitan Division, plus an extra complement of 45 radio and detective cars were assigned to the manhunt. The search for Guttridge went on all that day, all that night into the following morning. No sign of him. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Still no sign of him. The 24-hour watch continued. 5 days, 10 days, 2 weeks. Tuesday, April 28th. It was the end of the 3rd week. Our relief showed up a few minutes before midnight. Before we went home, Frank and I stopped by the office to check with Captain Lorman. They told us in homicide that he was down the hall in communications.
All units. All units.
What's doing, Skipper? Just a minute.
All units. 211 and a shooting. In the bar at 1231 North Fremont. 1231 North Fremont. 1K61, handle a call, code 3. 1K61, roger.
1K61, that's Ramsey and Crowley, isn't it?
All units, 211 suspect has been identified by victim as Wesley Guttridge, murder suspect.
The 1200 block of North Fremont's in the stakeout area, isn't it?
Right on the edge of it, I think.
Yeah, here it is, right here. Guttridge is going to have a rough time. The neighborhood here should be pretty well covered.
All units on the 211 and shooting at 1231 North Fremont. Suspect left scene in a light tan 1950 Ford sedan. License 7 Tom 7972. 7 Tom 7972. Suspect headed south on Fremont. Suspect headed south on Fremont. 1K61. 1K61. We have spotted 211 suspect, tan Ford sedan, license 7 Tom 7972. Suspect is traveling at high rate of speed, west on 3rd. Now crossing Lucas. We're in pursuit. 1K61, roger. All units on all frequencies, stand by. 1K61 is in pursuit of 211 murder suspect. Suspect is heading west on 3rd Street, now crossing Lucas Avenue. 1K61, pursuing suspect west on 3rd Street, now crossing Union Avenue. Push it, Jim. Don't lose it. 1K61, roger. All units. Suspect headed west on 3rd Street, crossing Union Avenue. Units 1R13, 1A17, 1R19. Block the intersection at Westlake and 3rd Street. 1R13, roger. 1A17, roger. 1R19, roger. Units 1R11 and 1A12. Block the intersection at 3rd Street and Alvarado. 1R11, roger.
We're closing in on him.
1K61, 1K61. Suspect now headed north on Burlington, crossing Miramar. North on Burlington, crossing Miramar. Watcha truck, Jim. 1K61, roger. All units. Suspect now headed north on Burlington, crossing Miramar. North on Burlington, crossing Miramar.
Maybe they got him blocked.
1K61. 1K61, go ahead. Still pursuing suspect north on Burlington, now crossing 2nd Street. Looks like a dead end. I think we got him blocked. He's turning around. Watch it, Jim. Here he comes. Look out. There goes our windshield. You see all right, Jim? 1K61, 1K61. Maybe you heard it. He got by us. Suspect now headed east on Beverly Boulevard, crossing Belmont. Are you receiving us? 1K61, we are receiving you. All units. Suspect now headed east on Beverly Boulevard, now crossing Belmont. 1K61 is in pursuit. 1K61, suspect just turned off Beverly onto Figueroa, heading north on Figueroa, crossing Temple. Just a minute, hold it. He just turned down Alpine. Hold it. Turned again. Suspect now headed north on Alameda, headed for the Southern Pacific train yards. Now crossing North Broadway, going into the yards. Don't lose him, Jim. All units. All units. Converge on Southern Pacific train yards. All units. Converge on Southern Pacific train yards. From North Main to the river. From Alhambra Avenue to Macy Street. Suspect is in the yards. Suspect is in the yards.
Not making it easy.
He's got nothing to lose.
1K61. 1K61. 1K61, come in. 1K61, come in. 1K61, we have suspect in custody. We have suspect in custody. 1K61, roger. All units. 1K61 has suspect in custody. Return to your districts. Return to your districts. All frequencies clear.
Well, I guess that does it.
Yeah, it sounds like nobody was hurt. They didn't ask for an ambulance.
Big night.
Lucky one.
Well, I'm going home. See you fellas in the morning.
Good night, Skipper.
Good night. Good night.
Good night.
KMA 367. Time check, 12:30 a.m.
How about that?
What's the matter?
This wristwatch of mine. Jeweler worked the whole thing over. Give it a complete overhaul. Look at that, Joe. 5 minutes slow. Wait till I talk to that jeweler.
Well, how long ago did he work on it?
Oh, just 4 or 5 years ago. Why?
Good night, Frank.
Yeah. What time you got, Lieutenant?
August 28th, trial was held in Department 82, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial. The suspect was tried and convicted of murder in the first degree.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
This is the city. Los Angeles, California. I work here. I'm a cop. It was Wednesday, October 7th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of robbery division. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Didion. My name's Friday. 16 people had been robbed, beaten senseless, and then shot. The victims all gave the same description of their assailant. A tall, beautiful woman. We had to stop her.
My partner, Joe Friday, Mr. Maloney.
How are you, sir?
Find out anything yet?
Still checking, Mr. Maloney. We'd like to have you tell us exactly what happened the night before last.
Well, she sure had me fooled. That's all I can say.
Well, you're not the first one, sir. There's 15 others ahead of you. Would you mind telling us what happened?
Well, I started to drive home out Central Avenue. I guess it must have been about 18th Street. Hey, will you give my pillow a shove there?
Yes, sir.
Thanks. Get kind of numb laying here.
Yes, sir. If you'd go on, please.
Well, I pulled up for the arterial, and I saw this gal standing on the corner. She was hitchhiking.
You remember what she looked like, how she was dressed?
You know, kind of flashy, but nice clothes. Good-looking dame. Tall, long blonde hair. Beautiful eyes.
You sure about the color of her hair, are you?
Yeah, it was blonde.
What happened then?
Well, she got in the car, and we drove off. We talked a while, and then she pulled a gun on me. Told me to drive up an alley.
Now, where was that, do you remember?
Around 32nd Street. 32nd and Central.
Then what?
And she took my wallet, watch, car keys, everything I had.
Mm-hmm.
And then she made me get out of the car and lay down on the street. I felt her shove that gun against me. Hey, could you fix that pillow again, please?
Oh, sure.
Thanks. She pulled the trigger, I guess. That's all I remember.
You don't recall her slugging you?
Must have happened after she shot me. My face is pretty bad, huh?
You'll be all right, Mr. Maloney. You think you'd recognize the girl if you saw her again?
I sure would. Nice looking, you know. Tall, blonde, beautiful shape. Doesn't figure, does it?
What's that, sir?
She'd make more money on the stage than she would rolling guys like me. Must be crazy.
Maybe. Wonder if you'd mind taking a look at these mugshots, Mr. Maloney. See if any of these women look like the one who shot you.
Let's see.
Here, let me help you. Can you see all right here?
Yeah. No.
How about this one?
No.
This one?
No. Let's see. No.
How about her?
No, she's better looking than that.
Mm-hmm. Well, these are all the same. This is the last one. How about her?
I don't know. It might be her. The hair was fixed right. Maybe a little more makeup. I'm not sure.
All right, Mr. Maloney, thanks very much.
We'll be back to see you in a day or two when you're feeling better.
Okay. Say, my name won't be in the papers, will it?
No, sir, not unless you give it to him.
I was just wondering. A wife might not understand. Giving a girl a ride, you know?
Yeah, we know.
May I have these, please?
Sure.
Thank you very much. We'll check you later.
Okay, officers. Sure hope you get a line on that thing.
We'll try. Bye.
Sure messed up, isn't he?
Yeah, that dame must have some other motive besides money.
Maybe she's psycho.
Could be.
What'd the doctor say?
Well, he took a pretty bad beating. He'll get over that, though. It's the bullet in his back.
But he'll be all right.
The bullet shattered part of his spinal cord. There was nothing they could do.
Yeah?
Paraplegia. He'll never walk again. We left the county hospital and went back to the office. We got out a local broadcast for the woman whose mugshot Maloney had partially identified. Her name was Beverly Allen. She had a record of 3 arrests and 1 conviction of 242 PC, assault and battery. After we checked in the office, we went across the street to the crime lab. Lee Jones had already examined the bullet taken from Maloney's spine and the empty cartridge casing found at the scene of the shooting. Both of them bore the same markings as the bullets which had wounded the 15 previous victims. From the striations, the gun had been previously identified as a .38 Colt. Maloney's car was examined. We found nothing. 8:35 p.m., we went back to the city hall. I checked the stats office.
Oh, hi. How'd they do?
Well, they went back 7 years on this run.
Yeah?
Checked all Caucasian women, 5'8", 130 pounds, 25 years old, good-looking, blonde or brunette, all of them with either assault or robbery records.
Yeah.
Came up with 19 names. 17 on the list have already been checked out and cleared.
What about the other 2?
One of them here is a Catherine Collins. The other's Beverly Allen. She might tie in.
That's all we got to go on.
You want to pull the packages on the 2?
Give me the list.
Okay, I'll check, see if we got any calls.
Okay, I'll get right on it.
All right.
Friday out there?
Yeah.
See you with it?
Right, Skipper. Hi, Skipper.
Where's Smith?
Down the hall checking out a couple of reports.
That fellow Maloney tell you anything?
No, nothing that helped very much. Same old story. No report on that broadcast we put out in Beverly Allen yet, huh?
No, not yet. You banking on it?
Well, it's the first lead we've had in 16 nights.
Yeah, well, it better work out.
Why? What's the matter?
Take a look.
A woman bandit gets 16th victim. Beautiful hold-up queen robs and shoots restaurant worker. Yeah.
It's on the editorial page, too. Here's something else.
What's this?
Memo from the chief. Letter from the Downtown Citizens Committee. Another one here from the Civic Club. They all want answers.
Well, we're doing what we can, Skipper. You know, we got 2 other teams of men working. Special Squad from Metropolitan Division. They're on it, too.
I don't care what you've done. You got to do more. 16 nights, 16 robberies and shootings, 9 victims still in the hospital. When do we blow the whistle on her?
Well, we've checked out every possible lead. We got a one out on one suspect. We're checking out another one. You know, we talked to Maloney.
Exactly what did he tell you?
Well, he gave us a description. It doesn't match the others in one respect.
What do you mean?
Well, as you know, in 10 of the 16 cases we've had reported, the victims tagged the girl hitchhiker as a blonde, long hair. 4 of them say she was a brunette with short hair. 2 of them tell us the girl had red hair, long. She must be using wigs. It's the way we got it figured anyway. We've checked every place in town where she could have rented or bought them. No leads.
What about some of the bigger supply houses out of town?
Well, Stewart and Creasy have started in checking them. It'll take a little time.
Then you got practically nothing on the woman.
Same gun, a .38 Colt. Lee Jones examined the bullet they took out of Maloney's spine.
How's he doing?
Not good. The bullet smashed his spinal cord. His legs are paralyzed.
Smith?
Hi.
What do you got?
I pulled the packages on 2 possibles and that woman hold-up thing. No good, Joe.
Why not? What about that Allen dame?
Jail. Kansas City, been in for a month.
What about the other one?
Catherine Collins, been in the Seattle hospital for the past 3 months, TB ward.
Where does that leave you?
Right back where we started. No leads, no suspects.
All right, starting tonight, we cover every street and alley in the central area until we get that woman. I'll call Metro, get more men and detective cars from them.
Right.
Get out more decoy cars. Have the area covered from sundown till sunrise until further notice. Get that woman.
Right.
Hotshot, 211 and shooting, Gatewood and Cameron.
Roll on it.
The name on his driver's license said Leslie Haas. We found him 50 feet from the corner of Gatewood Alley and Cameron Street. His face and head bore the marks of a vicious beating. There was a single bullet wound in his left shoulder. He was conscious when we arrived. Frank checked the area for physical evidence. I tried to speak with the victim just before he lapsed into unconsciousness.
How's the victim?
Just passed out.
It's the worst one yet. Take a look, Joe. Shell casing.
Yeah.
.38 caliber.
The The latest victim was taken to Georgia Street Receiving Hospital. The shell casing, which we had found at the scene, was taken to the crime lab for examination. It was compared with the others. Sergeant J. Allen confirmed that the markings on the bullet which had wounded Haas matched those on the bullet which had been taken from Maloney's back. Both bullets had been fired from the same gun. The Dragnet operation for the woman bandit went on. The men in the special detail covered every street and alley in the central area during the hours of 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. During the next 5 days, 11 suspects were picked up, brought in for questioning, and then released after the victims failed to identify any of them. Saturday, October 10th, 10:16 p.m. It looked like we got our first break in the case. Like to sit down, miss?
Yeah.
The officers tell us they picked you up near First and Wall. Is that right?
That's what they say.
You mind telling us what you were doing down there?
I went down to meet a friend.
With a gun?
What about it?
Well, do you always go to visit your friends with a gun?
It's the silliest question I ever heard.
Yeah, well, then you shouldn't have too much trouble giving us an answer.
You got a cigarette?
How about the gun?
Well, I tell you, I've been having a little trouble with my ex-husband lately. I bought the gun for protection.
You got a permit for it?
No, not yet. I'm going to get one, though.
Did you register it?
Yeah.
Here, with us?
Yeah.
I'll check it. I read Frank Smith. Want to check the gun with you? Colt 38 automatic. 456-292. Oh, -292. Yeah, I'll wait.
We see your identification, please.
Well, I showed it to the other cops. Isn't that enough?
Could we see it? Is there any money in that wallet?
Yeah, a few dollars.
Would you take it out, please? No, you keep it. Just the wallet. Donald Lorraine Stewart. That's your true name?
Yeah.
This your present address?
Yeah.
Yeah, Reed? There isn't, huh? Okay, thanks. We got no record on this gun.
Well, then you just better check your records again. I'm telling you, that gun's registered. I did it myself right after I bought it.
You employed?
Yes.
Where?
At a dress shop out on Wilshire Boulevard. Now, listen. I don't know what all these questions are about, but you better get in touch with the people who record things and have them check this gun again. I'm telling you, it's registered. I did it myself.
I'm sorry, ma'am. There's no record of it.
Why'd you buy the gun?
I told you. I'm having trouble with my ex-husband. I bought it for protection. He's always coming around the house, causing trouble. I thought maybe I could scare him with it. That's why I bought it. I've got nothing to be ashamed about. I bought a gun. I brought it right down here, and I told the police all about it. I haven't done anything to be ashamed of. Gee, I wish you'd tell me what this is all about.
All right, miss. There have been a number of robberies lately, committed by a woman who answers your description. Woman armed with a .38 caliber automatic.
And you think it's me? Is that what you mean? You think I'm the person who's been doing these robberies?
Well, you match the description. You got the gun.
Probably a lot of people who match the descriptions and have a gun, too.
I'll get it. Robbery Friday. Yeah, he's here. I'll get... All right, I can take it. Yeah. There is, huh? Yeah. Well, don't worry about it. No, those things happen. Right. Thanks very much. I'm afraid we owe you an apology, Miss Stewart.
Well, I imagine so.
That was Reed down in gun records.
Yeah?
They found the registration. Been misfiled. Reed thought he remembered the number. The information checks out.
There, you see, I told you.
Yes, ma'am.
Could I have my gun now?
Well, I'm afraid not.
Why not?
We're going to have to book you.
Well, what for? I haven't done anything.
It's a misdemeanor to carry a concealed weapon.
But I registered it. I came right down here. I told him I had a gun.
I'm very sorry, Miss Stewart. We have to file on you.
Well, that's not fair. I didn't know it was wrong.
Now, look, miss, they told you that when you registered the gun, the registration means you can keep the gun in your home. Doesn't give you the right to carry it around. You know that.
What am I going to do?
I don't know, ma'am. You can get a lawyer. They'll be able to tell you.
This is a bum deal. My ex-husband can walk around and threaten me, and you don't do anything about that. But I carry a gun to protect myself, and you put me in jail.
Well, I'm sorry, ma'am. If you want to file a complaint against your husband, there are laws for it.
Seems to be a law for just about everything.
All I know is I'm going to jail. There isn't anything worse than that.
Maybe there is.
What?
Well, you might have run into your husband with that gun. Donna Stewart was turned over to the arresting officer and taken to the main jail to be booked on a charge of violation of Section 12025 of the Penal Code. Tuesday, October 13th. Frank and I checked into the office.
She do any good? We got her stopped temporarily. She hasn't pulled a job in almost a week.
That doesn't bring us any closer to her. I don't know about you, but it's got me beat. 17 jobs, and we're no closer to her now than we were before.
What'd you find?
Nothing. The last 4 women we questioned were clear.
What about the other men on the case, Skipper? Did they get anything?
Murphy and Rafferty are down at the record bureau. Be in a minute. They've been out talking to some of the victims again. Tough one.
How about a composite picture? We got enough to work with?
Artist in crime analysis is working up a couple of sketches now. A lot of guesswork.
What about the description of the clothes the girl wears? Anything there we can start on?
No, other than the fact that she wears flashy clothes. None of the victims has a very good idea what she looks like. Tall, good-looking, nice figure. You know, all that.
Nothing out of the ordinary.
Robbery, did he? Oh, yeah, Andy. Yeah, when did it happen? Uh-huh. Turn up anything yet? Yes, I have. All right. Dress. Coat. Sweater. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got that. Could be. We'll check it out. Yeah, thanks for the call. Right, we'll be right over. See you. Anderson over in burglary.
What's he got?
They were checking back on a job out in Hollywood. Came up with something might help.
What is it?
One of the picture studios had a burglary about a month ago. Thief got in the wardrobe department, then went next door into makeup.
Yeah?
List of the stuff they took. Dress, coat, red sweater, brown skirt. Stole 2 makeup kits, 4 wigs. Andy says they're listed as 2 blondes, 1 redhead, 1 brunette.
That might be it. Any leads as to who pulled the jobs?
Not yet.
Clothes and wigs. Might be what we're after.
They came up with a single footprint, size 9.
That's a pretty large size for a woman.
They're not sure it was a woman. Print was made by a man's shoe.
Popular misconceptions of the working detective as offered by the fiction writers is the picture of a man with amazing talents for detecting evidence, analyzing human behavior and motives, and then, almost as if by magic, fitting all the pieces together to form the solution to the crime. The real-life picture is a little different. The working detective is a job. In a sense, it's as practical and down-to-earth as baking bread or practicing law. It's his job to protect citizens and apprehend criminals, and it's a job he doesn't do alone. To assist him in collecting and analyzing evidence, he has the aid of the crime laboratory. To help him identify oddities in suspects or possible suspects, he has the record bureau, latent fingerprints, the statistician's office, the ballistics department, a battery of men and machines to aid him in reaching conclusions based on fact. Thursday, October 15th, Frank and I re-questioned all of the 17 victims of the woman bandit. We asked them one question. Could their assailant possibly have been a man dressed as a woman? The majority didn't think so. Those that did weren't very sure. We followed the lead through. 9:25 p.m. We checked into the city hall and we went to the stats office. We asked them to make another run for us. Because of the information we'd gotten regarding the burglary at the motion picture studio, a new card was punched up as a master for the collator. Out of the thousands of cards that would be checked automatically, only those cards would be selected which carried the following information. A code punching indicating a male Caucasian about 5'8" or 5'9", 130 to 35 pounds. Feminine features, size 9 shoe impersonating woman with a robbery record. In addition, the master card was further punched to select the M.O. the thief had used, carrying a .38 caliber Colt automatic and hitchhiking rides. The clerk in the stats office told us the run would be finished by 11 o'clock that night. Captain Didion called and asked to see us right away.
Call your wife after dinner? Yeah, I'm sorry I did. She's mad as a hornet.
Why, what's the matter?
Tomorrow's the kid's birthday, and I forgot to buy the cake.
Too bad.
What's she gonna do? Bake one, I guess.
Told me to stop the car. Well, I'm telling you, Captain, I just grabbed that gun and slapped that kid just as hard as I could.
Hold it just a minute, will you please, Mr. Collins?
Much obliged.
This is Mr. Emil Collins, Sergeant Friday, and his partner, Frank Smith.
How you do? Can I give you a light, Mr. Collins?
Not just yet.
Mr. Collins, would you mind telling these men what you were just telling me?
I was just telling the captain here. I'm down here on a vacation. I'm from Sacramento.
That's so.
South Sacramento. I was driving down your Figueroa Street, and I picked up this girl hitching a ride. She tried to rob me.
Collins took the gun away from her, subdued the girl, and brought her in.
Where's she now?
Interrogation room. Murphy and Rafferty are with her.
Description match?
Not too close.
Sounds like you didn't have too much trouble with her, Collins.
Well, now that I come to think of it, maybe I didn't. When she pointed that gun at me, I just grabbed for it and slapped her as hard as I could. Sure took the starch out of her.
We got anything on her?
Yeah.
You mind if I go now, Captain?
No, we'd like a stenographer to take your statement.
Anything to oblige.
Fine.
Here, let me light that for you.
Oh, you never want to light one of these.
Is that right?
Licorice.
You want to come with me, please? Don't forget your case.
Full of licorice cigarettes. I really got the habit. Bye-bye. Just for now.
They got anything on the girl, Skipper?
Not much.
What you got to say?
Murphy got her to talk. Doesn't look like she's the one we're after.
What's your story?
Said she read about this woman bandit in the paper, decided to try her hand at it. Needed money.
Yeah.
Claims her husband left her. She's pregnant. Needs the dough for a hospital.
She live here?
Up the coast, Monterey. Got in town 4 days ago, staying at the YWCA. We checked there. She's not lying.
Did you call Monterey?
Yeah, they confirmed it. She left there last Wednesday night. She's not the one.
Are they going to take care of having her booked?
Yeah, as soon as they get a statement.
Well, looks like another lead that didn't pan out.
We got one. What is it? 4th and Westlake, 211 shooting.
Anything on it?
Tall blonde with a gun.
The woman bandit's 18th victim was a truck driver. His name was Harry Reese. His story differed little from that of the first victim. The woman was hitchhiking near Alvarado and 3rd Street. He gave her a ride. She robbed him at gunpoint, slugged him, and then shot him through the left shoulder. He described her as a tall blonde, attractive and well-dressed.
Guess I should have known better. I read about the dame in the newspapers.
Are you sure that the person who held you up was a woman?
I don't get you.
Well, what I mean is you don't think it could have been a man dressed like a woman?
No, that don't seem likely. Pretty sure it was a woman.
All right, Mr. Reese, I see the ambulance is coming. We'll check with you later at the hospital.
Joe, we got a call on the radio. 4 blocks down on Colfax, a cab driver just dropped off a fare.
Yeah?
Said she was in a big hurry.
What about it?
Described her as a tall blonde.
Officers?
Yeah, what do you got?
It just happened a couple of minutes ago, just a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah, it looks like bloodstains all over the sidewalk there.
Yeah, that's what I want to tell you. Couldn't have happened more than a couple of minutes ago. I had this fare, see? I picked her up at 4th and Bixel and drove her over here. She paid the fare, got out of the cab.
Yeah, go on.
I just pulled away from the curb when I heard a shot. At least it sounded like one. When I looked back, I see this dame down on one knee near the door to the hotel here. That's this hotel for women. When I backed up, she was gone.
And that's when you noticed the bloodstains?
That's right, yeah. I figured I better call somebody.
What'd the girl look like?
Not bad at all. Tall, blonde, pretty girl. Nervous.
Did you see where she went?
No, I didn't.
Did you get the number of the cab?
Yeah.
3025.
I got it.
Yeah.
Come on. Goes right along here. Looks pretty fresh.
Yeah. Watch it.
Got your flash?
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah. Just stop there. There it goes. Up. Back entrance to the hotel.
Yeah.
Goes down this way, doesn't it?
Yeah. Hard to see on this carpet.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Where's it go from here?
There it is. Yeah.
Go right into that room.
Right.
What?
Please help me. My leg. Call an ambulance.
Hello, this is the police department. That's right, I'll explain when I come down. Right. Got me Georgia Street Receiving Hospital.
It was an accident. I dropped the gun, went off, shot me in the leg. You never would have got me.
Look at this, Joe.
Yeah.
Tall, blonde. You sure had a lot of people fooled.
Well, we weren't the only ones.
Huh?
Well, he was living here.
Yeah.
Hotel for women.
On January 14th, trial was held in Department 89, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial. The suspect was tried and convicted of assault with attempt to commit murder, 9 counts, and robbery in the first degree, 9 counts. Assault with attempt to commit murder is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of not less than 1, nor more than 14 years. Robbery in the first degree is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of not less than 5 years.